everybody, welcome back. So this time I'm just going to be doing a regular restoration on this little National machine. I think she's adorable. She's got a really cute little shape. She looks very Art Deco to me. I'm not going to be stripping her. I'm just going to be tearing her down, cleaning the parts, making sure she works, and putting her back together. And she will be for sale. I'm just going to try to work through my stash of machines and get them up. So in case anyone's interested, she will be going up for sale when I'm done. There's a lot of electrical stuff I'm going to need to do because I'm not really sure if I feel safe with this foot pedal right now. I'd have to tear into it first and see, you know, what kind of condition that's in. A different kind of wiring here, you know, and everything. So this is going to be separate from the machine itself. I'll deal with this, you know, over there. But for right now, what we're going to be doing is just getting started tearing this machine down, going through what the parts are, and then getting her put back together. Okay, welcome to the next day. I think the first thing I'm going to do is just try to get her out of this box. I'm going to do the best I can to get this little box all cleaned up and everything. The wood looks to be in pretty good shape. Let's see here. She's got, sorry about that, some hinges back here. She is like a 3/4 size machine. Always a little leery opening these up. Okay, I've got a couple little set screws here to pull out, and then I think I should be able to lift her off the pins. So I've got her off. This obviously is going to get cleaned. I'm going to get that all cleaned up, but I think that these hinges and everything, you know, they're a bit rusty. I'll clean that off. But they're in good shape, so I don't see any problem with using this box again when she's all done. But you're not going to see it until, you know, it's time to put her back in. This big bolt that I took out, it threads in here, and that's what kind of keeps her supported in the front. Okay, so if you're ever going to take her out, you need to take this bolt off first. But this is all going to get cleaned up. Okay, so now that that is off, let's have a little look at getting this motor off. Kind of similar to my hippie band one. It's got a massive spring here. We've got a lot of dirt going on. I have not plugged this in to try to see if it works yet, so you know that's going to be another task for another day. But let's see if I could just take this off all in one go, just removing the bracket here. Oops, there's another screw up in here. I'm not going to reach that. Is this going to fit in there? Maybe, yes. Okay. All right. So this is what this motor is looking like. Get this screw out. There we go. That's the other mounting screw. It does turn easily, so that's good. It has this system where you have two rubber wheels, and this wheel here, if you can see, that kind of fits in between. And this actually, they actually feel very soft. Well, I do have a flat spot here. I think that I can use just regular bobbin winder wheels to replace that, but I will pull this apart separately and everything. I'm going to go put it over with the wires and everything over on my other desk, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, I think I'm going to get started on the bottom here, and I need to see if she has pins that will fit on my little mounting block here. Will they fit on a Singer pin? Yes, they will. Great. Okay. Let me get this set up so I can tip her back and have more clearance. Okay, now that she is all comfy cozy here, let's go ahead and take a peek at what's going on underneath. She kind of reminds me of a new home in some ways. You know, she's got aspects of a lot of different things going on here. I think I'm going to try to take this bar off here first. So, let's see here. loosen up this clamp. And I need a smaller bit for down here. Let me get a wrench. What are you? She's looking like 3/8. Is that it? Yes. Okay. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. This is what I'm doing here. Okay, so there's that little nut. And this is what is like putting pressure up against the end of this bar here, so set screw. All right, let's just take this whole little bracket here off. And there's a screw right here that I need to loosen. Just going to try to take this whole little guy off here. Come on. All right. This should come off. See if I can just wiggle this out. Again, it should come out too. Wiggle, wiggle. Maybe I'll have to take this bracket off here. But for this, I'll just try to twist it off here. There you go. All right. So this little screw here was in there. All right. So that's very dirty. And I don't know why this isn't coming out of here. Seems like it should. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and undo these two screws, which is what's holding the feed dogs on up here, and then I should be able to pull this bar out. You know what? I really need to take some of this stuff off so that I can get to that plate. Let's go ahead and get this needle off here so I don't stab myself. And the needle clamp. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Has the little thread guide up at the top. And the thread guide, the little wire is pointing towards the front of the machine. Okay. I did try to oil my chair the other day. It just did not happen, you know. It still is what it is. That is stiff. All right. Well, they're loose. I just can't get them off until I get that plate off, and I can't get that plate off until I get the foot off, and I can't get the foot off until I get this loose. Let me try one more thing. That did it. Okay. All right. This should slide forward now. Should. It's just, you know, gunk. Oh my goodness. Well, I have to, that was my timer going off. I have to go put a coat of paint on something in my paint booth. So let me come back and deal with this in a few minutes. Okay, well, at least I have that unscrewed, so I think Just wiggle this out now. I think. All right. Okay, there we go. So there is like a groove in here where that little cross piece is. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that on there for right now and keep all these other little parts with it. Did I just wiggle this out? No. All right. Since I can't get this out until I get the plates off, once I put this piece away, I'm just going to go ahead and flip her down, and we're going to work on the front nose area so I can get all of that cleared out. Okay, I think I didn't have my camera on when I thought I did. I just pulled the faceplate off. It was just a couple screws. And this is what we have inside. It's very basic. Not really a spring or anything visible here on this rusty looking presser bar. So I'm guessing there's a spring inside of it because we do have tension, you know, but it's very simple inside. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the lifter lever. Now on this lifter lever, one side is bigger than the other. It's just so you can lift the presser foot different heights. And the fatter one, the bigger butt, is going towards the front, okay? I'm just wiggling this foot until it comes off, you know. So now that that is done, I think if I take this screw off here, I should be able to pull this whole little bottom unit off. I'm hoping at least. Don't let that little screw roll off the table. Let's see if I can just tap that down. Does not want to come off. Okay. We do have a thread cutter on here too. That's going to pop off. Okay, that's what it looks like, and it was on like this. So this little sharp part right here, that's the cutter part, is over on the outside edge. Let's see. Not coming off. Well, let me take this little screw off. Why not, huh? That's what that one looks like. It's in that upper hole up here. I think I just need to spray penetrating oil on that and let it sit for a minute while I tackle the needle bar. While that is going, I'm going to see if I can use this long screwdriver to take this needle plate off. It looks like I can. So that is good. Okay. This machine was used because there is quite a bit of lint in here. I should be able to grab these feed dogs now. Okay. So that's the big long feed dog piece, and that goes with these two little mounting screws. Okay, now front plate slid off easily. The back one is a little bit stiff. Let's see if we can tap it out. Using a piece of wood so I don't mar this edge at all. There we go. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and pull. Oh dear, she does not have a bobbin. See what I can do to come up with a bobbin that will work on her, but we do have the shuttle, so that's something. Okay, let me put some things away. Go ahead and take off this upper. Ah, there's that spring. Okay, I knew it was in there somewhere. Here's the internal spring. I'm going to need to take this screw off so that that can slide up and down. Alrighty, let's throw some nano oil on that too, huh? Yeah. Alright, I'm going to put some on this little screw here too, because I have a feeling that's going to be an issue. So while that is soaking, on the front here, I'm going to try to get this screw out so I can loosen up the needle bar. So let's see. Okay, that worked better. Technically, this should come loose now, but I'm going to throw some oil on here and around the bottoms of those. And up here at the top, let that sit for a minute and take this little thread guide off. It's a bit rusty. Isn't that cute though? I just love this size. It's like a mini machine. It's so cute. Okay, so here's this little thread guide. I'm going to put that away safely. While I'm waiting for the penetrating oil to do its thing, I'm going to come in here with a wire wheel and clean off both of these shafts because this is just too gunky to even slide through here the way it is right now. See if that does any better. She is still not moving. I'm going to give her a little more time. There's no rush. I've got other things I can do. Like this tension. This is the tension release for the upper thread. So when you want to pull your fabric out, you push this down. So that's pretty cool. This whole thing needs a good clean. And there we go. It's a two-piece. So your thread's going to go in between there. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this little plate off too. Cute little peephole round piece. Alright, here we go. Okay, this spool pin, I know the machine is tilted, but it's a bit twisted that way. So I'm going to see if I can just tap it back. Just a hair. May have to do something a bit more drastic. I'm giving this screw over here another shot. No, we're good. Come on. Oh my goodness. So tight. I don't want to put a bunch of heat from my torch on here because the paint is good. I don't want to blister it. But at this point I'm just spilling things. Hang on. It is turning though, so that's a good sign. Okay, let me just keep untwisting it until it comes out. Okay. All right, so there you go. And then this piece here is the slide that goes up and down in that slot. All righty. Yeah, if I can get this bottom piece off, I think I can just pull this whole shaft straight out the top. All right, I'm going to try to take off this bottom screw here. And I did put that little screw back in just slightly so that it will hold the presser bar down. So let's see here. Okay, so this is the screw from the bottom. Will this come down maybe now? I'm just going to need to tap it, I think. Do some tapping work. Okay, so I got this ring unscrewed now because I've got that bottom screw off. And I'm trying to see. I don't think that this is threaded. I think that it's this collar piece right here that I'm dealing with. I think it's just pushed up on there. And it does not want to come back down, which is unfortunate. But I am now able to turn the needle bar, and I'm pushing it up as I do this, and it is coming out, so yay, that is good. Okay. Okay, there we are. That's rusty, but it can get polished up. Okay, so that's part of the whole needle bar, and then this should come out. You can see. If I can get it out from behind that presser bar there. There we go. And is there a bearing that comes off? There's a bearing, but it doesn't want to come off right now, so I'm not going to make it. I have a feeling I would have to take this screw out, and it's so open in there I can clean that bearing in place, so I'm not going to worry about that. We'll just come back to this problem child in a few moments. I'm just going to leave that alone. But now that I have this out, I should be able to get to everything in the bottom pretty well. I might go ahead and take the bobbin winder off. It looks like the bobbin winder, not sure how this works. This is interesting because it can't be running up against the wheel because it's offset out. See how far out that is? And the motor was like this, so maybe there's something on that motor that a belt could connect to or something. I don't know. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. But for right now, I'm just gonna take this screw out here so I can get to it and clean it up really well. It's in good shape. It is. Alrighty. Okay, let's start with the bracket here. A bit linty. Okay. Okay, there's a little, I'm going to pull this off. There's a little set screw here that I need to release that should release the collar, and then I can unscrew this. Okie doke. Time for another coat of paint. Alright, come on. We're going to put some penetrating oil on that too, and let it sit for a bit while I go and paint. All right, well that's soaking. I'm going to see, oops, that is totally the wrong size bit. If I can get this screw loosened up here. Yes, that one will, so that's good. Okay. Now as this loosens up, I should be able to pull the bottom of this shaft out. There's these little washers that are kind of dish shaped here that go around the end of this. Let's just see. Ooh. Let me give another shot onto that one. Okay, it's coming out now, which is good. All right, so loosening this up, this collar, there's that tiny set screw. This collar should come off now. There you go. Okay, a little conical shape. And this came off. Underneath it, down here at the bottom, is this washer, okay? Now, on this, there are a bigger side, conical shape, that goes up against the casting up here, and then the smaller side is facing out. And, oopsie, that washer that came out, that was not over here. I don't know why I was saying that. That was the bottom one of this. So if you can see, they're kind of rounded. That rounded part goes around this ball here. Okay, so there you go. Let me get this put away. I'm going to leave this in. I'm not going to take it out. I don't need to. But I need to work on this stitch length one here. Here. I might leave this one in place. I don't think I need to take it out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. Okay, it's got the little washer with the pointer on it, this little knob. I need to take this plate off, which is also looking like it is in pretty good shape. I think this bit's too wide. Hang on. Let's try this one. So, just having a thought here. I started doing this because I love these little machines and I hate to see them just, you know, get trashed. So, I'm not really in it for the big bucks, you know, which is obvious, I guess. Hopefully it should be. And so I've decided that I think that I could get better exposure and have more of a chance of rehoming these guys, because really that's what it is. It's like a rescue thing. I just want to rehome them. If I list them on eBay. Now with eBay there's a lot of fees. I don't get the discounted shipping like I do selling off my website and stuff. But I'm also, if I sell something on eBay, I'm not allowed to mention that I have it for sale anywhere else too. So, you know, that's a thing. And I think that I'm just gonna put a fairly small, you know, with the understanding that I do have something invested in them here, a fairly small amount of a starting bid and just let them go. So I'm thinking I might do that. Okay, if you look down inside of here, I'm trying to show, there's a block. Let's see here. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. This block thing right here, it's kind of loose and everything. It'll fall down in a second. Maybe I should just wait till it falls down. That might be good. Let's try to tip it up. Get this thing down here. All right. Oh, come on, come on, come on. It should come off. There we go. All right. So this is going to go on like this. So the hinge is set like that, okay? If you're putting yours back together. I'm going to get this all cleaned up and everything. And that is how the stitch length, when this moves up and down, it changes the angle of that. Stitch length changes. Looking up here, moving it up and down, this, on a, like singers and stuff, it's a fork that goes up like that. On this one, it's a complete ring that's going all the way around that main shaft. So I'm not going to take that out because in general, I don't remove main shafts. And I can see there is some rust in here, but I think that it's superficial and I can clean that up really well in place. The only way I can get this one off here is if I pull this bolt off. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. Let me go ahead and get the balance wheel off. There's a little screw right here that needs to come off. That won't work. Okay. Tiny little screw. Isn't that cute? All right. Oh my goodness. There it goes. The washer. Let's see if I can just pull this off. Yes, I can. That's great. That's going to get cleaned up. I'm going to leave that bushing in place. Yeah, I'm going to leave this in. I don't see a point to pulling that off and everything because getting everything lined up in there could give me a headache later. We'll see. We'll see. So at this point, the only thing I'm really struggling with still is that one little collar up on the presser bar right here. This little guy. So I'm going to turn the camera off and just, you know, deal with it for a bit. See what I can do. That took a lot of wiggling, but I got it off and it was just pressed on. It's not threaded or anything, so that's good. I had to put this piece back on to hold it in place while I was wiggling. So let me take this screw back out. And let's see if this presser bar will come out now. Yay. There we go. That's the troublemaker. I'm going to get started cleaning her, and everyone has their own favorite cleaning thing. Ooh, that looks nasty. Hang on. 𝐥𝐤𝐤 had gotten nasty. So basically, just to get the initial yuck off of everything, I do use 𝐥𝐤𝐤. It's the original without the pumice and everything. And I am just rubbing it all over everything. Oopsie. Here's another little washer. I need to put that with the balance wheel. So don't let me forget that. But once I have it all rubbed on, I'm just going to let it sit for a couple minutes and then come back and just wipe it off with a paper towel, you know, lightly. But to me, that's a good way just to get the initial yuck off of everything. And so put it in here, and I'm also going to put it on the bottom. Looks like Spotify decided Marshall Tucker Band is next up, so that's cool. Sometimes I just let Spotify choose what I'm listening to sometimes, you know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Okay, let me get some clean paper towels and just wipe her down. Little, you know, spoolie kind of brushes are great for coming back in and cleaning out all of the little holes and things. Get all that loose stuff out. Just cleaning out anything that looks like it might have trapped yuck over the years. She's looking pretty good. Okay, so the bottom is fabulously clean. I'm going to polish these up with my Dremel, but that Japanning is looking great. And I don't use sewing machine oil on these right off, and the reason is because sometimes I have to do touch-up paint, and you can't really paint over an oiled surface. This stuff, it will melt the old oil. It still has a conditioner effect, you know. It's safe on skin, so it's safe on here. And I've never had it do damage, you know. If you don't want to and you only want to use sewing machine oil, be my guest, you know. It's a free world. Everyone can do what they want. This is just the way that I'm choosing to. I know this is going to cause other outrage, but I even use it to do the initial cleaning on wood, you know. It's going to take off that surface stuff. It does condition the wood. This box, it's going to get new little rubber feet down here at the bottom because those are in a sad state. But, you know, I think that all in all, it works pretty good. So there you go. Not bad, huh? Okay, looking at the machine itself, she does have an oil wick here. Let's just see if it's soft enough to accept oil. And it is. It's very soft. So I'm just going to fluff that up a bit and then just resaturate it with fresh oil. There should be a tiny pinhole in here, and yes, there is right there. I want to make sure that that is clear. Let's see, you can't see that, so sorry about that. Okay, between where the oil wick is and the inside, there's a little pinhole, and I'm just sticking a old needle in there to try to make sure that is clear. And just saturate this little wick here. I don't think I'm going to need to do touch-up paint on this. Looking at it now that it's clean, there are a few places, you know, where there's little issues, but I think that with enough, you know, buffing and things, I can get them cleaned off. I think that's just yuck on top of the decal and everything. So I'm just going to use some light rubbing compound and get her as clean as I can, and then put her together. And then when I'm all done, then I'll come back and give her a final wax and everything. That's my thought. Right now, I'm going to go ahead off camera, get my Dremel and wire wheel, and clean up all of these little parts, you know, that part's underneath there, parts in here, and try to get all that as clean as possible. I wanted to show you, I just started cleaning parts, and I did the little box first. So basically I take off the hardware, clean it, polish it, put it back on. I did put new feet on the bottom. I cleaned up the old screws and put new vinyl feet on. And then, you know, I did do the initial cleaning with the 𝐥𝐤𝐤 on the wood. And then I just came back with the Howard Restore a Finish, you know, which is fabulous stuff, and gave that a good coat. And I think it's looking fabulous. So I'm going to consider the box part done and just set it aside for now. All right, I'm going to get started getting her put back together. So I just slid her wheel over. Put this little spring washer on. That was underneath this washer. Okay, and then, it wasn't underneath, was it? You know what? I think it was, actually. All right. Now this wheel has a tiny hole, an oil hole, and I'm putting that over here on the outside so it's easy to get to. So, okay, so with that, let me go ahead and put this little set screw in and tighten it up and make sure that the whole thing is going to work properly, hopefully. Okay, so can I undo it and do it? Yes. All right, we have a functioning meal. That is great. Let me go ahead and tip her back down, and I'm going to probably do the stitch length part next and then the stuff on the bottom. Okay, so what we have here is, I'm going to get this little decorative plate on first. It's just got a couple little screws, top and bottom, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that that is on, down here, this one that's just like a solid stick, this is going to go on. All right, so I should be able to just slide it up, but I am going to put a dab of oil inside and slide it up. Okay, now this hole here is where this is going to screw through, so I need to move it up so that it's going to be visible up here through that little slot. Let's see here. That looks good. Okay, now I have this little pointer washer, okay, and that's going to go over that hole, and then the little, oh my goodness, well, you know what I mean. Let me go ahead and get this situated here and screwed in. Well, I can do it like that. That's not bad. Okay, if you put this in really tight, it's going to lock it in place. If you back it out just a bit, then you can slide it up and down. Make sure it's movable. Yes, it is. Yay, that is great. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can put you where we can see what's going on down below. So I have this piece. Oh, look at the magnet holding all these little screws on. Okay, put this aside. All right, so the bigger part is up against here. Oops, got oil on that. Did not mean to do that. Just gonna set it on, make sure everything is good. Yes, okay. Before I actually connect it though, I want to go ahead and put the little bracket that's gonna hold the bobbin on. Okay. So this is it here. Set it on top, and the little screw head goes in down here underneath. Everything cleaned up so pretty. Okay, so there is an adjustment here, so you can move it in and out. If you loosen that, you know, this can go in and out a little bit depending on where you need it. I'm going to put it kind of in the middle right now to start with. Okay, so now there's this little round end here of this shaft. And I have this screw here backed out, okay, I place one of these washers here and this one on top of here. This is always tricky. Let's see if I can just kind of slide it on. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. All right, hang on. I'm gonna need to get both of those on. Hold them in place while I slide this over, and the camera is in my way. Give me a second. Okay, I think I've got it on there. There's a flat side to these washers and a curved side. The flat is against this part. The curved is obviously against the round. And I am just going to tighten this up a bit while I have this here. Just to hold it together. Hold it together, man. Come on. I've got to move you. You are right where I need to be. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. There you go. So I want this tight enough it's going to hold it, but not so tight that it binds, you know? The usual thing. All right. Now, up here, this little piece is going to go in. Again, just put a bit of oil on there. Ooh, lots of oil. Slide it on, and then there's a hole on here, right there, where a set screw needs to go. And here it is. I think I need to just get this set. And you want to make sure that this is not going to have a lot of play. But again, it's not bound up, you know? That usual thing there. You know what? I didn't check to see if there was a flat part on here. I don't think so. I think it just goes anywhere you need it to, which is nice. Okay. Is everything still turning well? Yes, it is. Great. And let's go ahead and put this little screw at the end. And get that cinched in. Okay. Everything's still moving. No, that got too tight. Okay, so I'm going to back this out a hair. And I need to back this off a hair. And usually if you just test everything every single time, try to turn the wheel every single time. There you go. Perfect. It's a fine line, I tell you. Very fine line. Because if you drop this, if you give yourself a gap up here, it's going to place this whole bracket down just slightly enough that it won't catch your thread. Ask me how I know. All right, we're good here. Let me go ahead and clean up some of my mess before we do the next piece. Alrighty, so at this point, move you over a bit. There you go. I have this long shaft here that's going to connect over here with this lovely piece, okay? So for right now, let me just put this on very loosely. It's going to go over the ball part, and this is going to slide up here. And I'm not cinching in these clamps yet. I want to wait until I have everything together. All right, so now you see where those little ridges are? That's where this is going to sit. And this little fork is going over there. Okay. Sliding this over here. And there is a hole up here that end needs to go into. So I think what I need to do is move it down. There it goes. Slide that in and then reconnect this part down here. Something like that. Yeah, I guess so. There's a bolt, screw thing it's going to go on here and hold this in place. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that started. So at least I have something stable over on this end. And put a bit of oil in there. Okay. Not moving well, not moving well. You know what? I think I have this piece on upside down. Okay. So let's flip it this way, huh? Yeah, that's better. All right. Sliding this in place. And sliding this. This is going to need to move up this shaft a little bit more. I need to loosen that and push it upright, but if I do that, I think we're going to be okay. So let me go ahead and loosen this up, move the whole thing up just a hair. Okay. And I'm just going to tighten this so it's centered over that little round part. And we're good. We are good. Okay. Now these two little holes right here, right there, that's what the feed dogs are going to get screwed onto. So get those out. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get the little plate, needle plate out. Needle plate. I got this out so I can make sure that I am going to be putting my feed dogs on correctly. It's easier that way for me, so I don't have to think too hard. So if I line that up, I can see it has to go this way, okay? So I'm just going to slide them straight in there, turn it back, and then, oh my goodness, get this lined up so that I can see. There you go. I can see those two little holes through there. I know you can't. There. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put those screws on. There is a little bit of play again, so you can make some adjustment on there. Okay, so now they are on, and again, if I needed to raise them, I could just loosen that, pop this up, and all of the feed dogs would move up slightly, you know, and it also had some adjustment forward to backward, so that when I put this on, I need to make sure that when I have this set at the longest stitch, that I have an equal amount of spacing front to back. So I will do that in just a moment. Let me clear this off here and go ahead and flip her down. Okay, so if I put this plate on, let's see how those feed dogs are lining up. Okay, I have it right now set at the longest stitch length, and they are going back closer to the edge than the front. I have more space in the front, so I think I am going to move them ever so slightly forwards, just a hair. Just ignore this. I will polish this before it's done. But side to side, I think that they are good, and I think the height is okay. I have them actually set pretty low. Ooh, it pinched my fingers. It is definitely okay. If I need to raise them, I can, you know. So let me go ahead and just move them forward just a hair by making that adjustment underneath. Okay, I'm just going to put a couple little things on here. This little cover and its little screw. I'm going to put the little slide plates back on, and I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put the little tension unit on. Okay, curved part is in the back. I believe it was this way. And I have this that needs to come straight down here. Okay, so let's just try it out here with this old spool of thread. I think I have that upside down because that is extremely tight. Hang on a sec. So this has to go this way because there's a little bump that sits right in here, okay? So that has to be right there. No way around it. And this has to sit inside of it. So maybe my thread was just tight. Maybe I just had this screwed on too tight. Who knows? Okay, so if I pull my thread underneath, oh, I just had it screwed down too tight. Okay, so if I push this, yes, that releases all tension. Yay, okay, so that's great. All right, lots of stuff to do in the front here, so let me go ahead and get those parts out. I'm actually going to get started putting this on first. The little lifter lever. just to get it out of the way. Putting it with the bigger curved side over here towards the front. Okay, and you should be able to still move it around freely when that screw is cinched in all the way. If you don't, you got it bound up somewhere. So. And I'm going to go ahead and just slide this in here for safekeeping. We still need to find a bobbin, but we'll deal with that in just a bit. All right. There is a little thread guide up here at the top. Just getting all these little things done here. So that makes a lot more sense. Okay, so the little curved part in there, that's what the thread is going to travel in. It's one of those days. Okay, so working on needle bar here. Not much to it. The bearing is on there still. Throw some nano oil in here just to keep it protected. All right. So in here there's a slide area right there. And that is what this is going to travel up and down in. So I'm also going to put some oil on there. Okay. So I'm putting it so that that bearing is inside this little groove here. And then turning it. All right. All right, so while it's just kind of hanging out there, here's the cleaned up needle bar. This is the top. And I'm going to slide it down here. Whoops, don't move. Through that bracket. Why aren't you moving? You know what? We're going to put a little extra oil up here at the top. And in there and down here. I can always clean up extra oil. I need to get this hole, can't see that, this hole that's way up here, right there, to line up with this point. Oh my goodness. Just wiggling the wheel, that seems to do the trick. Okay. Get it down through this bottom part here. Give me a second, I'm just going to wiggle it back and forth until it gets all the way through. Okay, so it's lined up there now, but before I put that screw in, I want to make sure that I've got this needle bar on right. So I'm just going to slide it on. I remember that thread guide came towards the front, so I'm pretty sure that I put this on the inside. You know what, I'm going to go take a look just to make sure. Well, I don't have those early photos here. They're already on my computer in the house. So if this is wrong, I can always come back and flip this needle bar around so that it's going the opposite way. But I think I'm right. But now why isn't this screw going on? There we go. All right, so now that is screwed in all the way. I'm just going to put a little more oil there. It's moving up and down easily, but I can hear it. And I think it just needs a little bit of oil. So, oh, that's better already. Okay, let's go ahead and work on the presser bar. Ready. Here's my presser bar. Okay, this side is hollow. That's the side that the spring is going to go into, like that. And now This part right here, okay, there's a flat side that's going to be up against this bracket that we just put in here. Okay, that's flat so that there's plenty of room for that to move up and down. This is what's going to be coming in the side into this hole, and it should have this piece, okay, so that it will slide well in that little slot. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. You know what? Let's throw oil in the holes just for fun. Okay. Just kind of wiggling it down until I can see that hole there. And then with this little slidey part, I'm gonna get it started right there. Come on. A screwdriver would make this easier, you know. I think it would. I think it would. Let me try this again. This was very tight, taking it out, so just trying to get it in nice and straight. Hang on a second. I think I'm at a weird angle and I need to make sure that I don't mess up the threads. So there we go. I think that is good. I need to put this finial on the top and get it started because that's what's going to put some pressure up against that spring. Yep. Okay. That can go down a lot further, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Lots of stuff to put onto this bottom here. First, I'm going to pop this thread cutter on. It's going to wrap around the back like this. It's blue. It's like blued. It's pretty cool. So it's going to snap on so it looks like that is up right up here. All right, let me go ahead and just push that up a bit. Oh dear, let me go grab that. Got it moved up so that when this is up all the way, I still have just a bit of room between the top of the cutter and that upper position. Okay. That sounded a little dry. Let's throw more oil in there, huh? I think it's a spring actually in there. Huh. It'll work out. It will work out. Okay. So, this, I'm going to go ahead and put this little screw into the bottom here. And, you know what? I need to take this off because I need to put this on first. Okay, so if I have that screwed on, then my foot can slide on here like that. And I can put this back down here. We're just going to test this out before I attach it to the machine. All right, so when I need to cinch this, I'm just going to thread that down. Okay, so that's cinched in really well. When I need to pull off that foot, I unscrew that a bit and the foot comes off. That was really stuck earlier. Okay, so try and get this on there so it's nice and centered. Okay. Now I have, oh dear, did I do that backwards? I think I did. I think I did. Okay, hang on a second. This isn't that big of a deal. I need to flick it this way because I need this hole to be in the back. Okay. All right. So with that in the back, now making sure that I have my little toes lined up over where the feed dogs are, which looks good. And I've got a little screw that's going to go in here. Can't see that, right there. Okay, into that little collar down here. Now, this machine, I know it says National. I think it's one of those badged machines that just, you know, appears several times in different names, which is fine because I have another one on my shelf, which is like the treadle version of this, but I think it has the name Richmond on it, so, you know, that's fun. This upper screw was on here. I'm not too sure exactly what it does, but it was there, so we're gonna put it back on. All right, and the feed dogs are traveling up and down like they should. All right, that looks good. Let's see what happens in here when I turn it. Great. Okay, what do I still have in here? I've just got my front plate and the needle. So let me go ahead and get that put on. It's just, you know, the front plate with a couple screws up and down. Now it does have the spring on it, which functions kind of like a thread take-up lever. Hello. That's what this is there. I feel like it should be in here, but once I get it set up, I'll play with that. So let me go ahead and get that on, and then we'll put the motor on. I did rework the motor. It needed a lot of work, so I completely took it apart, redid the clean out, polished what needed to be polished, worked on the brushes, worked on the wiring and everything, and it is good to go. So I'm excited to pop that on. Let's get this on here. And I will clean this. I know there's like fingerprints and stuff everywhere. It's easier to do it after I've had my greasy self all over it. Okay, let me go get the motor and put on the back. You know what we did not do is the bobbin winder, and I have one cog on it at this point here. So, and I did figure out how the bobbin winder works, and when I get the motor out, I'll show you. They have a system for how to make this work. All right. So, setting this like so. Get this on here. And this does move very freely. I already worked on that part off camera. Okay, now we have this little spring, and one side is longer than the other. I am putting the longer part through this hole down here in the casting. Okay, so the shorter part is up, and this little hole here is going to go over that top part, like that. All right. And I'm going to get this screw just barely started in here. Come on. All right. And then bring it all the way over and push it down. Make sure that spring is out of the way and get this tightened up. Okay, is it working? Yes. That follower should line up with that little heart-shaped cog, and it does, so that's great. And then this is going to push over here, and I got a screw that's going to go straight through this bracket. Sometimes it's easier for me to get the holes all lined up, sticking something in there like that and wiggling it around. Because it can be kind of tight. Okay. Okay, so this machine had a foot pedal on it that I thought was kind of like a Frankenstein thing, and I didn't feel safe with it, so I'm not using it. But I have this really cool Art Deco-ish type foot pedal that I scavenged off of something else a while back, and it had previously reworked it. So this is what I'm going to use. Has a little governor on it. This, sometimes on shuttle machines, they work better if the motor's not going super fast. So this is kind of like a little governor where you can only go that fast. And if that turns out to be too slow, well, you can always adjust it and screw it up so that you can go even faster. But I'm leaving it pretty long right now just to make sure that, you know, everything is good. Like I said, she has been reworked and she is doing great. She does have a new power cord, new cord for this, but I left the original going to the motor itself. These two, the power cord was long and bad. The one going to the foot pedal was just bad. But this is such a short amount and that little bit is in good condition, so we're just going to leave that as is, okay? That's how it's connected. It's kind of cool. So let me go ahead and get my mounting bolts. This bracket right here, there's two bolts that go straight on like that. So let me go do that. I've got her back in her box and I want to show you. I turned her on and to me it sounded like something was rubbing up against something. So I just removed the needle plate just to make sure it wasn't the feed dogs bumping up against it. It's not. This is too far against this sidewall. So I'm going to have to tip her up in the screw that connects this bracket to that arm underneath. Loosen that a bit and just slide this whole bracket that way, just a hair. All right, and I am also throwing oil up against here. I know I did put oil in here on this earlier, which is good, but just to get it started, getting this whole little slidey area here moisturized. Okay. Oh, that's a lot better. Isn't that cool? I don't know, the camera does weird things with sewing machine motor noises, but she sounds great. She really does. Okay, let me go ahead and get her put back together and put her needle in, and I'm going to run over to the house and see if I can figure out the whole bobbin situation. Alrighty, got my handy dandy Death Star here. I'm so excited about this. So the needle that was in there was very rusty, and honestly it broke while I was messing with it, but I was able to compare that needle because this National machine, because it is just it's like a Davis machine, I don't even know, but it's not one of the major ones that's listed on here, so I was able to compare it. And basically, if you're looking, it is with a shuttle number 1 and a needle number 2, okay? So these are the Boyle numbered systems, and because it's that, I was able to get a bobbin out of here, and I put the bobbin into the shuttle carrier and it fit. And so I pulled out one of my number 2 needles, and it has different, hang on a second, you have to close this to move it. Okay, it has different sizes. So the number 2 is the size needle that will fit in the machine. The variations are the thickness of the needle, you know, to go with different fabrics and things. So the needle, this was a brand new tube that I just opened, and it comes with a little needle threader, which is very cool. I love that the old needles came with needle threaders, so I might just leave that out so I can use it. Anyway, what I wanted to show you is that I put the little bobbin, which is the number 1 or 2 bobbin, on here, and it does fit. Okay, so I got started winding the bobbin. So let me show you how that works. Okay, so basically on the motor back here, okay, that is mounted, and it does have the big spring, it has an extra little space at the end of the pulley here for a separate belt. So this belt you only put on when you're winding a bobbin. Okay, so put that around here and pop it on there. Okay, now I have my thread on, and you know, through the fork, through the lip, and I just put it around the little knob up there just because. And I did end up adjusting this up a little bit because it was just a little too slow. So, oops, I need to, oh well, I don't know why that clutch isn't stopping it, but it should. I'll work on that. Oh, I know why it's not. The belt is rubbing up against it. Hang on. I need to see if I tighten up this little screw here, if that will help. I doubt it. What is happening is this just wants to spin. And so when the wheel starts turning, it goes backwards and relocks. So anyway, it's not a big deal. But I wanted to show you that the bobbin winder is working. The motor's working. And so I think that's enough thread on there. Let me go ahead and get my scissors. Well, actually, tell you what we're going to do. Try to use the thread cutter over here. Let's see. Well, that worked really well. Way to go, nice and sharp thread cutter. Okay, so if pull out that front slide plate. This is my shuttle carrier. I want my thread to come from this side across the front and pop it down. Okay. There you go. It's going to come all the way down, and then should go back up over this. I think I have this screw on too tight. Hang on. All right. Hang on. I think when I was polishing up this piece, that little finger got bent up a little bit, so I've adjusted it, and I think we're good. So I pop this down, pull the thread down, and if you can see, it's going back over on top of that little finger and straight up. So if I pull this thread, I can see the bobbin turning. Okay, I might back that out just a hair more. I don't want to have to pull too tight. Well, we'll give that a shot and see. I can always adjust it later. So let me go ahead and get that in and get the machine threaded up. Yeah, she is sewing so beautifully. So this is how I have it threaded. You know, this thread, you push down the thread tension release, and you're going to put the thread going down in this slot between these two pieces of metal here, and then coming out here, okay? Then up here, and you're going to go underneath this little thread guide and through the top of this finial. There's a little slit that way. Okay, then, oops, I think I just unplugged myself. Oh well. Coming down here, okay, I'm just coming straight down. And then where this little knockout is, I'm going to reach through and pull the thread out and hook it around the bottom of this spring, okay? And that's what's gonna pull your thread out when you need it to. Then coming down and through this little thread guide and threading it from the outside going in, okay? So let me put my plug back in and I'll show you how she works. Okay, I got my presser foot on here and isn't she just so neat? She's got such a great sound. I am in love with this little machine, honestly. Okay, so then lift this up, but before you just pull your fabric out, you need to push down here and then pull out. Okay, so that's what you do. And then the little thread cutter works great. So that's the front. That is the back. It's great. It's really great. I'm so impressed. I might need to loosen up the tension on the shuttle just a hair, but you don't even need to move it out. All I need to do is just get my tiny little screwdriver in here and back this out maybe a quarter turn, and I think that's about it. Okay, so she is done. I'm going to play with her and sew with her for a little bit, give her a final cleanup, take her in for her glamour shot, and she's going to be ready to go to her new home. Priced reasonably. I'm going to put a cheap price tag on her just because I want her to get out and be used. She is a very functional machine, and there's no reason she can't become someone's main machine, you know? So anyway, hope you liked it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.